Hello, my name's Joe Lowe from Maver UK. We're here today at Maver Larford Lakes in Worcestershire. Hopefully the weather's going to be kind to us. I'm here with Callum Dix, the ex-under-22 world champion. The first thing we're going to discuss is the myths of pellet fishing on commercials. Now, we've all read the articles, we've all looked at the rigs. Is it complicated? Is pellet fishing difficult? For a lot of us, it's not as straightforward as it is for Callum. Therefore, we're going to pick his brains this morning and hopefully make things a lot simpler for all of us. Morning, Callum, how are you?
Good, thanks, Joe.
Good. Now, the first question, Callum, I notice you're fishing at what, 11.5 metres?
Yeah, just picked 11.5, yeah.
Right, the first daft question I'm going to ask you, why? Why have you started there?
I think a lot of time with commercial fishing, it's not necessary to go any further. When you fish longer poles, sometimes you just make it hard for yourself. As you can see from there, there's plenty of fish in your swim already. So sometimes, a lot of the time, it's not necessary. You know, you can fish in 11.5 metres and you can catch just as many fish as people fishing 13 or 14.5.
Now, I noticed from your bait tubs there, Callum, it's a bit Spartan, to be honest. pellet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, at the moment, unless I'm wrong, you're actually fishing a soft hooker pellet on the hook, yeah?
Yeah, I am to start off with, yeah. I'm feeding hard pellets, slightly softened down, slightly wettened down.
Right.
But I have started on a soft pellet.
Why would you dampen them down, Callum, the pellet?
Well, to start off with some of these lakes, as you can see today, there is quite a bit of surface tension. And when using 4mm pellets, a lot of the time they can get caught up in the surface tension and not sink straight away.
Right.
The also benefit of just wetting them down a bit is when I'm using a kinder pot like I am today, what you can actually do is when you fill the pot up, you can actually just press the pellets down into the pot. It just gives you a little bit more allowance so they jump out when you're shipping the pole out.
Yeah, which is a favourite trick of mine in all fairness, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're feeding 4mm and you're fishing 4mm expanders on the hook,
yeah? Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, when the 4mm expander is softened up, it goes a little bit bigger than the 4mm hard pellets, but
right. So it stands out from the feed
yeah,
pellets,
just a little bit, yeah, that's correct.
Now, the other thing that seems to be a bit of a contradiction or confusion comes in with pellet fishing on the deck. The importance of the exact length of the rig and the exact depth. Would that be a fair assessment?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. The depth is one of the most important things of pellet fishing. As you can see, some of the bites can be quite difficult to hit. And if your depth's not absolutely perfect, a lot of the times you can miss lots of bites.
Right, so the initial plumbing is critical, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. When there's no wind, as there is today, I like to fish absolutely dead depth, so the pellet's just touching the bottom when your rig is settled.
And there's one there.
Yeah, just a small fish, just a skimmer to start off with.
Now obviously the depth of water you've got there is probably what, 3 foot, Callum?
Yeah, it's not very deep, as Larford, the chalet bank isn't, so...
So obviously the depth is dependent on the size of the float.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the deeper the water, the bigger the float.
Right, can we have a quick look at your rig, Callum, before we go in again? Right. So if you can talk us through that, if you can start from the bottom with the actual hook, yeah?
Yeah, sure. To start off with, when I'm using expander pellets, I'm using a Maver Series MT33 hook. Okay. That's to 014 hook length and 017 main line.
Okay, and this is Genesis line?
Yeah,
yes.
that's Maver Genesis line.
Yeah.
As you said before, the float isn't that big, it's actually a 0.3. Right. So there's not masses of shot on the line. I've started off with just a small bulk and 2 droppers. Right. The float I'm using is a Maver, the new ones, the Maver Invincible Series 7. It's a pencil-shaped float, which I find very good for pellets. As I said before, bites can be quite difficult. A slimmer shaped float comes out of the water a lot better than like a rounder body float, so you should hit some more bites. So less resistance all round, better presentation. Yeah, it's quite a small, tight, very simple rig. Just 1 small bulk and 2 droppers. And I think this is where a lot of the confusion comes in with pellet fishing. To be honest with you, the rig couldn't really be simpler. No, it's probably the most simple rig. A lot of people overcomplicate it. Pellet fishing is very simple. The more complicated you make it, sometimes a lot less fish you catch. And you've got a relatively soft elastic in there. Yeah, that's a Maver hollow elastic, so it stretches a long way. It's the Maver 6 to 9, it's the blue one. Right. So it's very soft to allow you to catch from any size fish, a small fish up your double figure carp. So in effect, for these commercials where you are, to all intents and purposes, fishing on a mixed fishery, as you so rightly say, you're catching skimmers from 4 ounce up to carp to double figures, it gives you that flexibility. Yeah, definitely. You can land any size fish on this elastic. But one of the most important things when you're using hollow elastic, I have actually got it on a power zone made of a top kit.
All right, explain that to us, Callum.
Basically what it is, it's just a double wrap of carbon in one little area of the top kit, which allows you to drill a hole in, so you can have your elastic coming through your top kit and out the side of it. What I've actually done is just glued a bush in there after I've drilled the hole, just so it allows me to have the elastic coming out the side of the pole. No bungs, it's lighter. It's very, very efficient.
And of course the big advantage of having it coming out of the side is, if for argument's sake you were fishing on the specimen lake here at Larford, where you've got arguably a 10-foot rig, and you're fishing with another section of the pole behind the top two, it allows you to actually play the fish on a top 3 or a top 4 and still have access.
Yeah, when it's 8-10 foot deep and your rig's on your top 4, a lot of the time you can't use a conventional pull bung. You have to pull it out the side of your pole, and you can actually have your top 4 in your hand and pull the elastic down to make the fish perfect.
Now, going back to the elastic again, Callum, and obviously we've said that it's only 3 foot deep here. Would for argument's sake, if you were on the far bank of this lake where it's 7-8 foot deep, would you use a slightly heavier elastic to set the hook, or would you continue with that?
No, definitely not. I think this elastic's definitely hard enough to set the hook in any depth of water.
Yep.
It's pretty good conventional elastic, you know. It just depends on what size fish you're catching and how you're catching them.
Okay, excellent. Catch us a carp then, Callum.
No problems.
Right, I knew we picked the right guy for this, gentleman. On demand, a carp. Unless it's a very big skimmer, Callum, which I don't think it is it?
No, it's pulling a bit hard for that, yeah.
And there you can see the practicality of having that on the side of your pole.
Yeah, with these soft elastics, Joe, it's very, very important now that you have your power zone pull bungs. If you were to just try and play this on your conventional top 4, top 5, you'd have a bit of a nightmare. You'd have top 4, top 5s in the air, and sometimes you can lead to snapping your pole. It's very, very easy, very simple and very efficient. You can get your fish out very quickly and also use a soft elastic, so it's very important. I couldn't fish without them there.
No.
There you go. Here's a
Excellent.
Nice F1, probably £3 in seconds with a really soft elastic.
Yeah,
so next chuck, if I hook a skimmer, there won't be any problem. I should be able to get that out just as quick.
It was relatively quick as well, as you so rightly say. Yeah, those F1s have certainly grown on, Callum, from when we used to catch them 4 or 5 years ago, haven't they?
Oh, definitely, yeah, they're twice the size now, Joe.
Yeah, it's weight builders as well.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah, but they have got a lot more clever as well.
Yeah, as we can see from the way you float set, Callum, which is something that I've noticed when you've shipped out and let the float settle, you've only got the slightest tip showing, haven't you?
Yeah, what I've actually done today, I've picked a yellow top float, but what I've done is just blacked the very, very top part of it over.
Right.
So when the float goes in, I just want that last tiny little bit showing, which is very, very important with pellet fishing, because a lot of the time you'll get just the tiniest of dink. You won't get, as you would with paste, a whole float go under. It's just very, very small bites. It's very important not to have lots of float showing and have the depth right.
And the other thing I've noticed, obviously with the float Saturn, is you're not actually striking in the true fashion, are you?
No.
You're actually lifting as opposed to striking. Now I'm assuming that's due to the fact you've got a soft pellet on the hook?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, with an expander pellet, the last thing you want to be doing is every time you get a bite is striking so the pellet comes off. That'll lead to a lot of shipping in and out and time wasted within a 5-hour match. What I actually do is when I get a bite is just lift up very gently. A lot of the time if you get a proper bite where the fish is taking it positively, then it'll be on.
And as you say, these fish are getting cleverer by the year, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely, mate, yeah. There you go. Oh,
there we go. On and off.
No, but it's very important to get your float like that.
But that really was only a very, very small dink, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it literally didn't pull the float under.
No, it's not the most positive of bites, but sometimes that's all you'll get with pellet fishing. You can't expect to get really, really positive bites. They're quite cautious fish and they're quite clever fish as well.
Right. Now, you mentioned about these, we spoke earlier, whereby on these commercial fisheries you will find yourself in situations whereby you've got a lot of small skimmers, a lot of small roach in your peg.
Yeah, that's correct. What I do then, if I'm catching mainly skimmers and small roach and fish where I should be targeting carp and bigger fish to win the match, what I'll actually do is swap over to a little hair rig with a hard banded pellet on it. That allows me to have a little bit more of a strike and drop your rig straight back in. But it also picks out the better fish in your peg.
Okay, and these are obviously what you've got on your side tray here then, Callum?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
So these are actually pre-tied?
Yeah, they're ready to go for you.
Banded hair rigs, yeah?
Very, very simple, eliminates all preparation, ready to go. So you can take it onto the bank and get a fish in.
Another F1, Callum?
Yeah, it feels like it, Joe. It's a real weight builder, so averaging for probably £1 and £3, so it doesn't take many fish and you can build up quite a match-winning weight. I see a lot of people rushing, when they play the fish, rushing them and losing fish. One of the great sayings I've always believed in is every one you catch, someone else has got to catch two to beat it. So I never ever rush, I always try and get every fish a hook in.
And again, this is obviously where balanced tackle comes in.
Yeah.
You've got the relatively soft elastic.
Yeah, decent size hook, strong line.
Yeah.
It's with this principles, you should get every fish in.
I think that's a common, isn't it, Callum?
Yeah, that's not an F1.
Yeah.
That's a small common.
Nice common.
Yeah, really are weight builders. I mean, such a small fish like that, it's not the biggest of fish, but they probably weigh £1 to £1.5, maybe even a little bit bigger. So that's the fish you want. You can soon build £100 bags up with that in no time at all.
Beautiful condition as well.
Yeah,
Callum,
absolutely perfect, like a lot of the fish at Larford.
So going back to that one, I've just actually opened one of these that's on your bait table. These really are simplicity themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, they're all ready to go perfect. They're the right hooks. They're the same hooks I use when I tie myself. The right pellet bands, and they're tied perfectly.
So that's an MT3 hook again.
Yeah, that's correct.
Like a Genesis line.
Yeah.
I mean, for people like you to tie hair rigs, Callum, obviously isn't difficult. For people like me, unfortunately, of advanced years, shall we say, whose eyesight isn't as brilliant as it used to be, this really does make life very, very simple, doesn't it?
Like I said, it eliminates all preparation. You can get your bank, you can unwind your pole rig, you can put your hair rig on, and away you go, and you'll be using as good a hook as what I am tying myself.
Simple is always best.
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, Callum, another F1?
Yeah, nicely hooked.
Well, it looks as if you're really starting to catch quick now, Callum.
Yeah.
So, all the things we've talked about, the simplicity of it, I hope we've dispelled some of the myths for you today. Balanced tackle, taking your time, thinking about what you're going to do. However, should you have any further questions, anything you're not 100% certain about, please look on our website at www.maver.co.uk. Hopefully we can answer any further questions you have. Thanks for your time.